Harry's wife. They made me do it. Hello. The orchestrated early release, reportedly by way of a mistake, has resulted in plenty of information flowing about what is contained within Spare. And one of the revelations, as reported in the Telegraph, is Prince Harry claims Prince and Princess of Wales encouraged him to wear Nazi uniform. Duke of Sussex is reported to write in his new memoir, Spare, that William and Kate howled with laughter when they saw his costume in 2005. The Duke of Sussex claimed that the Prince and Princess of Wales encouraged him to wear a Nazi uniform to a party in 2005, it has been reported. Yeah, sure. Okay. Bringing up the past, revision of history, smearing. You picture the scene. Harry sat there. Oh, I say, bro, these fuzzy felts are damn difficult to put into some kind of picture. I'm a bit stuck. Kate, can you help me? Certainly, Harry. But I'd had a better idea. Why don't you wear a Nazi uniform? That would be a real hoot. Yeah, I say, bro, put the old Nazi uniform on, huh? Member of SS. Fuck, great lord. Oh, you think so, Will? Yeah, sounds like a great idea. Nobody will be offended by that, will they? No, I'll do that. Do you think Pippa might fancy me? Do you think Pippa might fancy me, Kate, if I wear that? Yeah, I'm sure she would do. I'm sure she'd love nothing more than you to give her a good stormtroopering. Oh, fucking great. I'm going to do it. What a load of fucking manure. The Duke of Sussex claimed that the Prince and Princess of Wales encouraged him to wear a Nazi uniform to a party in 2005, it has been reported. Prince Harry is said to claim in his forthcoming memoir, Spare, aka My Wife Made Me Write All of This, that the Prince and Princess howled with laughter when they saw him in the costume, according to Page Six magazine. The Duke was reported to have written in his memoir, which is sent to be released next week, apart from the copies that Harry's wife was allowed to be released earlier, that it was a decision between two costumes, a pilot uniform or a Nazi uniform. I phoned Willie and Kate, asked what they thought. Nazi uniform, they said, he wrote, according to Page Six. They both howled, worse than Willie's leotard outfit, way more ridiculous, which again was the point. The Duke, who was 20 years old at the time, wore the Nazi uniform with a swastika on his left arm to a native and colonial-themed party thrown by Richard Meade, the Olympic show jumper. The Prince of Wales was also a guest and dressed in a lion outfit. Now, you're not telling me that William, who knows he's heir to the throne and basically has to be the serious one, thought, I know what a fucking great idea it would be if I encourage my brother to go as a Nazi to a party. Bollocks. Utter bollocks. William has always had to be the serious one. William, from a very early age, has had to adopt the mantle of knowing that he's going to be king someday and behave accordingly. That's freed up Harry to be the playboy prince. There is absolutely no way on God's green earth that William would have sanctioned or howled with laughter. This is just a fabrication, and it shows the idiocy of Harry in that an incident which took place some 18, 19 years ago, he's allowed it to be brought up again, which doesn't paint him in a particularly good light as wearing a Nazi outfit. But this time, he basically suggests that they told him to wear it, encouraged him to do so, so it actually wasn't his fault. First of all, Harry, why in the last 18 years have you never mentioned this before? I'll tell you why. Because it never fucking happened. Because your wife, once again, as part of her complete control of you, has caused you to believe that the best thing to do is to now tell the world, I wasn't sure, pilot or Nazi. And I asked Willie and Kate, and they both said, go for it, be a Nazi. But I neglected to mention that at any juncture previously. And if, Harry, you say the reason that you failed to mention it earlier was because you're protecting William, that's bollocks. Because if you're protecting him then you ought to have continued to do so. No, it's being done because it's self-serving in terms of not only making you look like a muppet as part of the fact that your wife's hanging you out to dry, more about that later, but also the fact that because your wife didn't get to shag William and because the nemesis is Kate, she cannot resist any opportunity to smear them because they're painted black, and she has caused you to trot out this lie that they encouraged you to wear it. Let's just assume that they did. Why have you not mentioned it earlier? That's my mind suggests that it never happened. And the reality is that because we know that you're under the control of your wife, we know that she's a narcissist, we know that her hand is right at your yitter, pulling on your narcissistic traits, you've done this despicable act of throwing your brother under the bus and your sister-in-law, who you described as the sister that you'd never had, and suggest that they encouraged you. You utter coward. The article continues, it came after the Duke referred to the scandal in his Netflix documentary last month, calling the decision to wear the costume one of the biggest mistakes of my life. Okay, well, then shut up about it and stop going on about it. Don't rope your brother in with it. Meanwhile, a further leaked extract of the book, which The Guardian said it had obtained, saw the Duke repeatedly claim he was physically attacked by his brother during a row over his marriage. The Duke claimed that his brother called the Duchess of Sussex difficult, rude and abrasive, good judge of character there, in a confrontation which turned violent, according to The Guardian. He reportedly said that he told the prince he was parroting the press narrative around his American wife and alleged his elder brother then grabbed me by the collar and knocked me to the floor. Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace both declined to comment, which is a sensible approach. Let him and her continue to make themselves look stupid. How are people reacting to this? What are the views? Well, below the line, Andrew Marshall writes, difficult, rude, and abrasive is relatively minor compared to what most of us would call her. Paul Jones, rude, abrasive, difficult are all facts. So is him being spare. Suck it up, big boy. Whilst we're at it, let's throw in Dumb and Dumber. Sandra Davies, mercurial, dramatic, shouty, and difficult, said her ex-husband. Independent opinion. There once were two princes who bicker. The ginger one couldn't be thicker. He's ruined his life, making Harry's wife his wife. Now he's blaming Will for the swastika. Elizabeth Guthrie Mueller. Please record your response in limerick form to all future Harry and Harry's wife updates. This is hilarious. Muffin of Doom. What a load of hooey. If Kate and William hold so much sway over him, why didn't he listen when they allegedly told him not to marry me again? Poppycock. He cannot accept responsibility for any poor choices in his past and instead has to blame them on anyone who disagreed with him at the time. No doubt aided by some woke California therapist who leads him to such conclusions by helping him to remember what actually transpired. Well, actually, it's his wife doing that. Tony Armour, my. Is nothing ever his fault or responsibility? What a sneaky way to try and shift the blame onto someone else who won't respond. Does he really think it will turn the world against William to hear of a minor argument between brothers, something that has happened to many, if not most of us, when we were younger, and for most people remains a private family issue or something long forgotten and forgiven? This is one of the shabbiest ways to line your pockets I believe I've ever seen. Matt Lutter, a grown man, got into a fight with Big Bro, accused him of acting like an heir to the throne, got upset when his wife, who presumably been rude to Kate, got insulted, got into a shoving match, and had a wee cry when brother said fight back. This is the war hero Harry. I wonder how he fared on the front line when the nasty Taliban said bad things. It is beyond pathetic. E. Juniper, the people I feel most sorry for are William, Kate, and the King. The hurt they must be feeling must be dreadful. Vivian Webb, Charles needs to nip this in the bud now and withhold any titles the evil pair their offspring should have. William should make that decision when they are 18, and hopefully he will refuse. Piggy Malone, Harold has described the uniform as the worst mistake of his life, so naturally he wants it to be someone else's fault. After all, it might damage his wife's political ambitions if she's associated with racism and insensitivity towards the Holocaust. Alan Wells. A few weeks ago, someone was complaining the cottage in KP was not big enough to swing a cat, but apparently now two fully grown men are having a rumble in there. Freethinker William Suster. It's so heartening to hear all of this. Good for William. Andrew Wood. The big boy made me do it. Truly pathetic. Colin Harrow. He pushed me over and broke my necklace. I only wore a Nazi uniform because of them. This snivelling little twerp becomes more and more pathetic as every minute passes. Well, not going well for you, Harry. Falling in with the narrative that your wife describes for you and lacking any kind of backbone as you swallow the Kool-Aid as the cult member, you are making yourself look an utter tit. And sympathy for you, if there were any to begin with, is eroding faster than a Swiss ski run at the present time. You really are fucking it up. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.